Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus Arsenal Premier League opener preview. And like the Premier League being back, this kit, it's just beautiful. We're back, we're excited. Make sure you smash a like, get your comments in. Do you agree with my predicted lineup? We're going to be talking about what is a huge game to a start of a huge Premier League season for Manchester United. Love having the previews, be it back. Big game. Start of the Premier League. We've all done our predictions. We've probably all got our fancy Premier League teams, but this is reality Premier League. This is Manchester United against Arsenal. This is one of the biggest games of our season being played as an opener, and that is why I am saying here right now, Man United don't lose this game. Can't lose this game, but don't lose this game. There's so much to discuss as well. You've got Šeško versus Gyökeres. You've got Arteta versus Amorim. Remember, we beat them in that FA Cup game at their place back in January. You've got rivalry. You've got opening day. Arsenal have a bad relationship with opening days of the season. Brentford, a couple of years ago, they lost on the opening day. I remember them losing to the likes of a Mickey Quinn hat-trick for Coventry and Norwich. So Arsenal fans will remember that their relationship with the opening day isn't necessarily that good. And also, what history teaches us is that the opening day is a little bit like an elongation of the pre-season. Like, teams rarely hit the ground running. It's a little bit like after an international break. You like to be at home opening day because you know you're not ready. It doesn't matter how good your prep is. Doesn't matter how good your pre-season is. Doesn't matter how good your transfer window is. It takes time to get up. And this is where Man United, with 75,000 fans on a hot, sunny afternoon on a Sunday with the whole world watching, we can literally do what we've built a reputation of doing over the last decade, which is on our day, give anybody a game. We went to Man City at the Etihad in December and we beat them last season. We went to Arsenal and knocked them out of the cup. We can do these things. Ten Hag knocked Liverpool out of the cup in his final season. So we can win this game, we can draw this game, we can lose this game. Arsenal come into it huge favourites before I talk about United's. In fact, let's talk about United's side first. This is the United stand. So that's the lineup I've gone with. We have a lot of options, to be fair. I think everybody actually is back. My concerns around Xerxes, Mazraoui and Onana is they haven't had a pre-season. So Onana has to get thrown in, but you're not going to use Mazraoui or Xerxes with no minutes. They're just not going to get used. So Onana comes into goal. I mean, obviously that's a big issue, but it's one we haven't solved. So I would take Onana over Bienda. I think De Ligt has to play middle centre-back. I think Harry Maguire is a reliable player, but De Ligt is better. Yoro has to be in there, so I would play him in his strong position against Arsenal on the right-hand side. And then left-hand side, I think you want balance. You could play Harry Maguire there. You could play Aiden Heaven there. But actually, I think Luke Shaw is probably going to get the nod. Remember, this is my predicted team. It's not my team. He could go Maguire there, but that makes us quite slow. So I think Maguire really needs to play where De Ligt's playing, and then you move De Ligt along if you want to do that. So I think he'll go with Luke Shaw. We're in that very rare situation where Luke Shaw's actually fit and he's actually had a pre-season, so I think he will go with Luke Shaw. Obviously, Dorgu plays left wing back. Now, right wing back, I'm just going to stick with what I was saying a few weeks ago. I think Delot will play because I think we will go defensive and counter. I think that I would love to see Ahmed play. I would love to see us go on the front foot. I would love to see us press the life out of them on the halfway line. I'd love to see us bombing forward, but I've leaned towards the fact that we're going to counter-attack, which is why I've put Casemiro in there and why I've put Delot in there. I think we're going to be a defensive back five with a shield in front, and we're going to counter. And I think that's what we're going to do. If I've got the lay of the land wrong, and I've got our strategy wrong, then Ahmad will probably be right wing back, and Ugarte will probably play where Casemiro is, and we'll go on the front foot and press. But I think we'll sit and counter. For a multitude of reasons, really. One, Arsenal are better than us. Two, it's the opening game of the season and it's important not to lose. And three, we're probably still very much got a lot of players that suit counter-attacking more than they do the Amorim system. So I think we'll counter. Bruno will obviously play in the midfield. Well, I say obviously, I assume he'll play in the midfield because we've got a lot of players. Well, Mbeumo's not in this team. So if you put Bruno in the 10, that's another one not playing. So I think Bruno will play in the midfield. I think Casemiro will sit in the midfield. And I think that's the way he will go. And then the front three, obviously we'll talk about Šeško in a moment. Cunha has to start. And I think I agree with Robert McCormack. I think Mason Mount might start this game, which is absolutely surprising because that would mean Ahmad and Mbeumo both on the bench in this lineup. But as I said, Mason Mount is busy, energetic, and I think that we're going to set up to restrict Arsenal, which I'll talk about in a moment. I think Šeško will start. Obviously, I don't want to see the false nine rubbish. It hasn't worked in pre-season. It's not going to work. I don't know why we're doing it. Amorim's system doesn't need a false nine when you've got two number 10s. You need a focal point. He is fit. All right, he hasn't played a game for Man United, but he is fit. So I would play him. And I would actually have Rasmus on the bench because if Šeško gets tired, I'd bring Rasmus on because I think we need to play with a focal point. So I think the team, that's how I think it will line up. Now, do I agree with that? It's hard not to be honest. It's hard not to. I want Ahmad in the team. I want Mbeumo in the team. But to be honest with you, I think we've said it on the thumbnail. We don't lose. And I think that's the main thing about the opening day. There are so many ex-players. There are so many people in the media with their knives sharpened, ready to go from game one. If you think if we get beat by Arsenal, everyone's going to go, oh, it's okay, it's only Arsenal. You're massively mistaken. Journalists of Manchester United, even there are Man United fans that were Amorim out at the end of the season. They've not disappeared. They've just been quiet for a little bit. It will be so toxic on Sunday night if we get beat by Arsenal, even though it shouldn't be because we're at the start of something now. So we can't lose this game because it keeps the Wolves at bay. So I therefore think that going into a game like this, do you go on the front foot, toe-to-toe with Arsenal when they're going to kill you if you do that? It would be a very brave thing to do, but pragmatically, I think you've just got to... I think we've got a better chance of winning this game playing defensive and countering than we have actually having a go. Because you say have a go, but it would be Šeško's debut. And Arna's not played in goal at all pre-season. And we're still not comfortable with this system. I think we've got to... I think we will do that. I think we will see Ahmad at right wing back. But I think for a game like this, we probably need to be a little bit more pragmatic. Arsenal. What are my thoughts on Arsenal? I am not dismissing Arsenal for 1 second. I've predicted that Arsenal are going to win the league, by the way. So I am not dismissing Arsenal as a threat at all. And if they want to win the league, they can't be losing games like this. So I look at Arsenal last year and I go, Saka, what a player. I think Odegaard didn't have his best season, but I still think he's a good player. Declan Rice is fantastic. The centre-back pairing is superb. I think David Raya is a very good goalkeeper as well. They've added to that with Zubimendi, who I think is an incredible player and could be the underrated player of the year. I think he could be transformative for Arsenal in that midfield. Obviously, they've brought in players like Madueke, Mascara, Norgard, but the big player is Gyökeres. And although I think there is this desire to say he's overrated and we've got the better player and this, that and the other, we've got a very good player in Šeško. But let's not forget, one of the reasons I'm happy with him is because Arsenal spent a lot of time looking at him. And I actually thought they were going to go for him. And they went for Gyökeres. Now, I agree with them going for Gyökeres, by the way. I wanted Gyökeres. I wish they'd got Šeško. Even now, I would swap that. Because I think Arsenal have took the right decision. I think Šeško hopefully is going to be a brilliant player for us, and Arsenal really did consider it. So we've really got two really good strikers here. But the thing about Gyökeres is that he's 27. He's ready to go. This is his opportunity. This is his time to shine. He could win the Golden Boot this year. He could be the difference between Arsenal finishing second and Arsenal finishing first. I genuinely think he's a fantastic player. I don't know why people are trying to paint him as overrated from a Portuguese league. You speak to Coventry fans. He was a very good player at Coventry when he was playing with them in the Championship. He has played in England. I think people forget this. He's played in the Championship, which is, a baptism of fire. He will be physical. He is physical. I'm just hoping that on Sunday we catch him a little bit rusty because he didn't really get a pre-season. We catch him a little bit, not settled because it's the Premier League. And we sort of catch Arsenal on an off day because it's the opening game of the season at Old Trafford. If this was at the Emirates, I'd be worried. I'd be very worried. They're a much better team than us. They've got much better players than us. And they understand their system far better than we do. So they have to be favourites going into the game. And I think that, but I just don't think we'll lose it. I really, really don't. I think the threats in the game, when you look at it tactically, the obvious one is the midfield. Games are won and lost in the midfield, and Arsenal, if they play Rice, Zubimendi and Odegaard, is a very good midfield. There is a contrast of styles. I think with 3 centre-backs against Gyökeres, you would hope to keep him quiet. I think if we're going to play 3 centre-backs and be defensive, we've literally got to be looking at a clean sheet. Set pieces are problematic. We know that Onana is not very commanding of his box, and we also know that United are not very good on crosses defensively. This is something that Arsenal stereotypically are very, very good at. So I think we've got to be very careful at set pieces. Games like this can be tipped in each other's favour on that. Midfield is a problem as well. Defensively, they're very strong centrally, and they're very good in possession. So, you know, I look at it and I go, logically, we're going to really struggle to go toe-to-toe with them in an attacking sense. We probably are better off letting them have the ball and countering them. We don't want to be doing that. Of course we don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be doing that. But I think pragmatically, as I've said, you know, we need to be looking at that because I think the most important thing is that we don't lose this game. I'd love to get your comments in on what your lineup would be, or what you... Well, it's not really... What would my lineup be? This is what I think Amorim will do. This is my predicted lineup. I would play Hayden. I would be tempted to play Heaven instead of Shaw for the physicality and speed. There is a risk with that because he's very young, but I would be tempted to do it for the mobility. I would probably put Ugarte instead of Casemiro for the mobility. I understand the Delo, if that happens. I understand that. They are a very good attacking side, and Ahmad, set pieces, back post, you know, that worries me, especially if we're defending. There's no point. The thing is, people say Ahmad dropped. It's tactical. There's no point in having Ahmad as a right wing back when he's going to play as a right back. There's no point. If you're going to be defending a lot, this is where Delo really should play. And I wouldn't play Mount. I would want, if we're going to counter, one of the best suitable counter-attacking players we've got is Mbeumo. I mean, literally played for Brentford. So, yeah, I'd take Mount out for Mbeumo. I'd take Casemiro out for Ugarte. And I'd take Shaw out for Heaven. But apart from that, I do agree. I do agree with it. So let me know what you would do if it was your 11. I also want to know your score predictions because I'm about to drop mine as well. I feel I'm going to go for a draw. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a draw. I think maybe 1-1. I think it'll be tight. Sunday, Super Sunday, 4:30, loads of hype. I can feel it being tight. And you know what? I will warn you all now, whether you're watching Man United Arsenal on Sunday or you're watching Newcastle Arsenal on Saturday lunchtime with me on That's Football, don't forget, one of the big things we don't want to talk about that will have a huge effect again this season is VAR and refereeing. They're bloody awful, and it will be a talking point. So you've always got to be wary of that as well. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. I'm very, very excited to see some of our new players in a competitive game. I'm very happy that pre-season's over, and this is where the work really, really does start. So yeah, let's do it. Very, very excited. I hope you've enjoyed the preview. I hope you like the top. I just want to say very, very quickly, I very, very rarely wear replica shirts these days, but this is the best United top I think they've done since I was at school. It's very reminiscent, obviously deliberately, of the Cantona Kung Fu kick against Palace, the sharp view cam, which was amazing. But this is the colours as well. I mean, it's fantastic. So, you know, I make no apologies. I know people were saying, well, you shouldn't be buying kits because of the glazes, this, that, and the other. I mean, look, I do agree with that, and I have done it, but ultimately, it makes no bloody difference. Protests don't make any difference. And you know what? It's the start of the season, and we have spent 200 million quid. So let's hope that we can start the season well. But let me know your score predictions. I'm going 1-1. Let me know your team. And also, I want to know... I want to ask a question. If we lose this game 2-1, what's your reaction? I'm posing the question because it could happen. My reaction is disappointment, but not surprise, and certainly not overreaction. I think that when you buy the amount of players we've bought, there's going to be a period of settling in. And this is a very established Arsenal side. Despite Zubimendi and Gyökeres, there's still 9 other players that know what they're doing. Whereas for us, even the established players are still learning. So don't lose is my message. And if we can get out with a point or even better, it would be a great start to the season. Thank you everybody for watching. Take care. Smash a like, subscribe, get your comments in below. And if you like the kit, smash a like. Thanks for watching. Take care.